All right, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to today's live stream. I took some time to see if we can have more people joining in before getting started. How was your week? And what's your plan for the week coming? If you remember last week, I challenged you to write down three things that you want to get done, you know, during the week. Did you do it? And how was it? Did you end up, doing those things that you said you would do or that you wrote down? There's a difference between what you say you do and what you write down. What you write down feels more real. So, did you actually write them down or do you just think about them? If you only thought about them and you didn't write it down, well, that's only half point for you. If you wrote them down, that's a full point. And if you wrote them down and then you did them, that's 2 points for you. I don't know how I'm going to reward you or whatever gift I'm going to give, but um, it's just a good habit to have. If you don't already do it or you didn't do it last week, today is another Sunday. It's something I've done for years. It really helps. Let me go off topic of what we're talking about today and just say why I believe it is important for you to do it. Once the week starts, right, there are 1,000 things pulling you in 1,000 directions. So when you write down those things that these three things, that's why I keep it super simple, just three things. When you write down those three things that you know you want to get done, it kind of gives you a target and it gives you a feeling of control, right? That okay, no matter where the week goes, these are the things I want to do. Now, does it mean that if you're unable to do those things, then you have failed? No, it doesn't. um, Maybe before the year runs out, I'm going to do a session on goal setting, because I believe that most people have a wrong idea about goal setting, and that's why most people just say motivational speakers say this, motivational speakers say that, whatever. But um, goal setting, the point of setting the goal is not entirely just to get the goal. The point of it is to give you focus, first of all, and also it also gives you an idea what you're capable of. Sometimes you find out you're capable of more. Sometimes you find out that you're not capable of it yet. And then you now find out, okay, this is the gap that I have. It just kind of it makes you commit, and it makes you to, focus all your energy towards specific things. If you don't have a target, you can't fail, right? But you also can't win. But once you have a target, there's a possibility of failing or winning. But the person that doesn't have a target and can't fail and can't win is not going to grow. However, the person that has a target, maybe they fail. Maybe it just gives them a new insight on themselves that they never knew before. So after all of the rap that I just rapped, try and write down three things that you want to get done this week. Super simple. And it's already the end of the month. Don't pressure yourself. Don't say, hey, all the things I didn't do since the beginning of the month, I'm going to do it now. If you can, that's cool. But, you know, you just set a tone for the week for yourself. Go and do it, please. I do it myself. Anyway, so let's get to today's topic. As usual, let me just check if everything is okay with the stream before I start. Uh, I go into everything proper so that I'm not leaving anybody out. Let me check YouTube. 1 second. Let me quickly check. Sorry, it just will throw me off if I'm in the middle of this and then I find out that something isn't working. All right, I think we're all good. Oh yeah, I think YouTube is clearer than Riverside, like you said. Awesome. I don't know. Thank you. All right, guys. Why am I making good money as a freelancer and what to do about it? All right. So, what is my motivation for this class? My motivation is no, let me start with that. Let me start with um, the reason why I well, that's the motivation, isn't it? Reason why I'm doing this class essentially is, if you've been following these live sessions for some time, you may remember that I did a series. It was just, I don't know, maybe like 2 weeks ago. I rounded it up like 2 weeks ago. The series called Serve and Grow Rich, right? Where I was talking about, getting started with a skill, essentially the step by step of, if you're starting from scratch. If you've taken that and you're already taking action, and then you're wondering, like, hey, um, or if you're wondering, okay, what may be the next steps, or you're already in the middle of your career as a freelancer, you've seen people talk about how they're making, good money, life-changing money, whatever it is, or you have a goal that you've not been able to reach financially for some time. What I'm hoping to do today is to give you new insights on why that may be, and possibly help you break to the next level, right? So, like, I don't know if you saw um, this post on the WhatsApp community, or did I post it on WhatsApp status? I was saying that essentially what I'm doing today is basically giving everybody for free what I had to pay people lots of money to learn. I'm not asking you to pay. All I ask you for you is to tune in. And I also said the second thing: don't come up to my DM to ask me these questions. Ask me questions about things that I'm going to teach today. I'm not going to answer you, at least not for free, because I didn't get it for free. So let's get into it. Why you're not making good money as a freelancer? The first things first is, let me establish the core of the problem. The core of the problem comes down to two words: strategy and tactic, right? Strategy and tactic. Most freelancers, most people that want to start freelancing or that are doing freelancing, they're very tactical, but they're not very strategic. But let me define what those two words are first of all before I go deep into it. What does strategy mean and what does tactics mean? Strategy is the big picture. Strategy is the how, the why. Tactic, no, strategy is the what, the why. Tactic is the how and the when, right? Tactic is the implementation, the things that you're doing, right? So I said most people are tactical, they are not strategic. What does that mean? It means they are very much consumed by, how will I do it? When should I do this? How will I do this? I can't figure out how to do this. That they are not ever thinking about, the bigger picture. Most people, when they hear about a class like this, maybe that's what you came here for. Sorry to disappoint you. When they hear about a class like this or a session like this, what they're hoping for is, hey, Samuel, tell me the winning proposals that got you, you know, work on Upwork, or how you've been able to get clients from so and so. Uh, how do I get clients from here? How do I charge this? How do I charge that? All of those things are tactical. When you're on the tactical level, right, you are dealing with things that are time bound. So let me give you a bit of a picture of when I got started with freelancing, right? When I got started with freelancing, most of the, and please don't get me wrong, it is not bad to be tactical, but it is bad to be tactical and not have a strategy. And I'll explain deeper. When I first got started with freelancing, most of the things that were out there is, a, we'll teach you how to get clients. We'll give you proposal templates. We'll give you where to check for this and where to check for that and all of that. And that's what most of us, in myself included, most of us were all around that. Most of us were going after that. Hey, this is how people are earning so amounts um, by doing this particular skill and selling it to this particular person. Those are good tactics, right? I also went for that. But one thing I found is, after some time, whatever tactic anybody gives you, it will die out, because tactics are based on time. Tactics are based on the current situation. Strategy, however, is more long term. So, what is this strategy that someone is talking about over and over and over again? I touched on most of the things I taught in my series, Serve and Grow Rich, are strategic stuff. I've thought about, doing your research about the market you want to go and doing your research about the skill you want to learn. Why do people hire in that? Why are people in the market for that thing? What makes this thing relevant? Remember, I said strategy is what and why. Tactics is how and when. So while everybody is being stuck, what made what made the biggest shift for me, honestly, was while everybody was stuck waiting for the next guru or the next what's it called, Twitter thread by one of the great Upwork people or the great freelance people to send them the proposal templates and all of that. Um, what I was doing instead is I was spending time, a lot of boring time, doing research on my market, reading plenty job posts, reading plenty job descriptions, looking at what people want, what the people that are hiring people like me, what are they posting, what are they talking about, what are they saying, uh, are their requirements, what tools do they need me to know, why do they want me to be able to use these tools, getting context on the reason why they want to hire. That gave me insights. It tells me where the client wants to go instead of me trying to get the next trick that gets people's attention. And it's why I personally don't like to teach um, stuff like, a let me take you on how to get started on Upwork or how to this, how to that. Because I always say this, even when I teach email marketing, I can teach you the platform, right? But whatever I teach you is only going to be relevant for the next, I don't know. It could be relevant for the next 5 days for all I know, or the next 1 month or the next 3 months. However, if I teach you how to be strategic, if I teach you how to think about your business as a freelancer, if I teach you how to position yourself and how to interact with people, even if there are changes on the platform, you will still survive. Over the past couple of years, about a year or so, I keep saying Upwork because that's the most popular thing. Changes are happening everywhere, right? But let's just say Upwork. Over the past couple of years, or about a year or two, there has been a lot of changes on the platform. People are complaining about, Upwork is no longer the same. We send proposals; it's more expensive to buy connects. Whereas there's some people that are still getting gigs from there. Matter of fact, I don't say this to boast. The last two gigs that I got off Upwork, I didn't have to send a proposal for it because of some strategy that I've implemented on a long-term basis. Right. So I said all of that to just let you know that if you're looking for me to tell you, go and set up your profile this way on Upwork for whatever, or go to, I don't know, go to Twitter to send this number of code DMs or whatever. That's not what I'm going to be doing on this session. I'm going to be teaching you on the strategic level. The thing about when you understand the strategy is the tactics become clear. When you understand when you understand what people are looking for, when you understand why they are looking for it, it becomes easy for you to be tactical. Nobody has to teach you. One of the ladies I coached recently, she was surprised by how simple the proposals I send are. Sometimes my proposals are maybe 2 paragraphs. It's just that simple because I understand what they want. It's not magical. It's just, hey, I know where you're going from. I know where you're going to, and I explain to them that I understand, the pain that they're feeling, and immediately they connect with that and they want to talk to me. So let's get into the meat of it. I keep saying let's get into the meat of it because there's so many intros. I sort of have to set the expectations of people because most people are used to all these uh you know magic one pill solves everything, and it just doesn't happen. It's frustrating for me. I sometimes At the time I used to feel bad because it seemed like I didn't want to help people, but apparently the people that actually do listen to the things that I have said over the years, I've seen those people actually get growth. And the thing is, they no longer have to ask me anything because they can figure it out on their own. I'm hoping you'll also be able to figure it out on your own now. So the end point of this class comes down to two things. Number one, it's okay to start as a hustle, but it's not okay to stay as a hustle. You have to start treating yourself and your freelance business like a big business. I'll say again, it's okay to start as a hustle, but it's not okay for it to stay also, you have to treat your freelance business like a big business. Keep that at the back of your mind as I go through my points. Um, you'd understand why I said that. The second thing is respect and authority is very important. And this is the part people go. I don't know why you want to. I don't know why you want to start a business and you don't want to be seen as. I don't want to be seen as somebody that I don't know. Is it that you're shy, or is it that um, you don't think you can ever be good enough to be that person that people come to for advice on a specific area or a specific thing. I think people sort of shy away anytime I speak about client respect and authority. Let me explain what I mean by respect and authority and why it's important. It's important because people only pay respectable money to people that they respect. And I've seen this play out many times, right? Matter of fact, I think this was someone I started working with, or I worked with um, early this year. You know, we're doing a team call, and me and this person are interacting, and then there's another guy, actually another lady, and then the interaction between me and this client and the interaction between that lady and this client is kind of way off. I'm speaking to this client like, I am an expert at my field and I'm here to assist you. So our conversations are kind of casual. Our conversation carries mutual respect. Whereas the other lady is kind of jumpy. The other lady is kind of, hey boss, okay boss, okay sir, okay this, okay that. I'm not There's a part of acknowledging that this is somebody that um there's a part where doing certain things makes you seem like you don't think you should be respected, but all respect goes to them because they're paying you money. You're not a slave, right? And they're not paying you. It's not a privilege that they're paying you. If there's any privilege anywhere, it is mutual privilege. They have the privilege of working with you, and you have the privilege, if I'm going to say that, of earning through that work. It's that simple. So client respect and your authority is very important. Authority comes from experience. People pay money to people that they feel have authority in an area or in a field of study, or yeah, a field of study, I can say. People pay good money to people that they feel they have authority. When you can speak with authority, you can give advice. When you can give advice, you can give directive. And at the end of the day, the reason why someone is hiring you is because they don't want to think about everything themselves and make all the decisions themselves, right? I recently did. You must have seen that there's a bit of a what's it called? There's a bit of a facelift to the banner that we used for today's live stream, because I did a really nice what's it called? Why am I saying like this? Why is this thing being stuck in my head? Photo shoot. This photo shoot I've been thinking of since. So I did a photo shoot, and I remember when we did that photo shoot a couple of weeks ago, the guy came to me with concepts. He came to me with poses. He came to me with this. He may not have done any of that, right? But because he has his authority, he was showing authority in his field by showing me, hey, this is the vision that I have for what we want to do. I might choose to pick it or might choose not to, but I wouldn't have been excited to work with him if every time I said, okay, let's do this, he's like, okay, anything you want to do, sir. I want to, he can't direct me to pose. He can't tell me what, give me ideas on, posture, and you can't give me, it basically is just looking for me or looking to me to tell him what to do. People don't hire you and pay you well if they have to tell you everything to do. If you're not bringing anything to the table, if you're not bringing any new insights to the table, if you're not bringing any new thoughts to the table apart from the one that is already in their head, then there's no point hiring. And if they hire you, they're just hiring you as, you're just a glorified assistant. Sorry to say. Let me just quickly address something that may have entered somebody's mind when I say glorified assistant. You can be a virtual assistant and still be an expert, and still be an expert at that, and still be somebody that they respect and they view as an authority in this area. So the two endpoints of this class I keep saying let's get into it because we still haven't gotten into it. The two endpoints of this class is to first of all get you to understand that it's okay to start as an hustle, but it's not okay to stay as an hustle or to stay hustler or to stay in hustler mentality. You should be ready and quickly start to treat your business like a big business. And then number two, client respect and your authority is super important. Let me check. I see I have two messages on the Timothy. You research the market to find out what employers want. Awesome. Thank you, Timothy. Thanks for joining us, sir. All right. Why do people not make good money as freelancers? Pardon me, I'm just checking my notes to make sure I don't miss anything because I can just go off on a tangent and rant and rant and rant. Number one, you don't understand the distinction about, you don't understand what your offer is. There are three levels of this thing. There's your skill, there's the service, and there's the offer. The skill is what you do, right? The should I say the theory of it, the thing, the title of it, whatever, photography, data analysis, email marketing, social media management, and all of that. That is the skill. The service is actually you turning that skill into something you do for people. But that is not an offer. People don't buy a service, so to say, or people don't pay good money for a service. I, I, I'm finding it difficult to find the right words for it because all these things are usually used interchangeably. But people don't pay you because you have a skill. They'll pay you because of the offer you bring to them. Or it is easier for them to pay you when you bring them an offer. And what is an offer? An offer is how you communicate that service to them. Let me explain it this way. Photography, yeah, I'm going to use photography again. Photography is the service that this guy renders. But saying something like three outfits, 10 images or 10 pictures, and maybe three raws or whatever for so amount, that is an offer. Most people are not clear on what they offer. They just know that they have a service that they are rendering. They don't have offers. Every time that a client comes to them, they sort of have to figure out what we are going to do. So it causes anxiety for you and even for the clients. Think about it this way. Imagine now that you have a headache, right? Like I did earlier today. So if I'm a little low energy, it's because I'm trying to not aggravate the headache again. Anyway, so you have a headache, you go and see a doctor, right? Now there are many things that can cause a headache, but you're in pain. Of course, they are going to ask you questions. Of course, they are going to, they're going to ask you questions. They're going to run tests and everything. But at the end of the day, they are going to give you a prescription for that thing that you need to, for that pain or for that problem that you have, right? What they're not going to do is they're not going to start telling you, they're not going to, go on with you to, for instance, they're not going to start asking about changes in your job before they give you the prescription. They're not going to, or anything that that stress causes headache and stuff like that. They're not going to start rambling around. Hey, go to your work at this time, come back at this time, whatever. It can get to that, but the first thing they'll give is the prescription. You have to you have to not sort of, you have to think of the skill, the service that you render. You have to turn it into a sort of prescription for people's headaches. That is your offer. If somebody has this problem, if somebody, let's say you're a social media manager, don't just say I'm a social media manager and I help people manage posts or manage your social media. I have offers, I have packages. I handle X amount of posts, set post X amount of times, do X amount of whatever for a certain amount. I do this amount of this and this amount of this and this amount of this. When you have offers, right? Number one, you make it easy for the person to make a buying decision. Number two, they almost always assume that the fact that you have an offer means that this is something that you have tested and tried before, and you know it works for their specific solution, so that specific problem. And when you have an offer, you sort of have control over the outcome of your negotiation. But if you go there without something that is structured into an offer, it is open ended and it can go in their favor and not in yours. That is why you are always negotiating from a point of disadvantage. You always have to build things up as you go. Like, I guess we can do so amount for this. I know that amount is not fair. Let us try this. But when you have offers, it is like you have, you know, it is like you have prescriptions, ready prescriptions for the specific thing that is wrong or the specific problem that they are facing. Now you can have your offer in different levels. Hey, if you want a quick fix, this is the offer I have. If you want something more elaborate, this is the offer I have. If you want the best of the best, this is what I have. Automatically, you are giving the right people the opportunity to choose how well they want you to serve them. So let's use the hospital example. You can have someone that is just a clinic, random clinic doctor that you just go to, they give you a prescription and go. But then you can also have somebody that is maybe a family doctor that would probably check up on you, probably give you more lifestyle advice, probably give you this. That is a more personalized service, and of course people pay more for that. But if you don't offer that, some people may never actually come to you to ask for it. So have an offer. An offer is, like I've said a couple of times already, it's like having a prescription, and people trust prescription. Think about it. Let me just wrap up with this particular part. If you went to a doctor again, let's keep hammering on doctors, and then now they have to start figuring out the dose and start calculating. Okay, how bad is the headache? Okay, let's calculate. Maybe you should try. Let's start mixing the medicine. I know it's not the doctors that actually do it; those are pharmacists. But essentially, what I'm telling you is, they already have they already know what you need based on what your problem is, and you have to treat your business like that. Most businesses, think about the biggest businesses, right? The only one that is coming to my head right now is, think about a brand that sells noodles, right? They have the small size that you can give to your kids or whatever. They have a more medium size for the normal people, and then they have hungry man size, if you already know the brand I'm talking about, for the hungry men. Right? You don't, and because of that, you make the decision. It is easy for you to make the decision based on where you are and what you want. Create an offer. How do you create an offer? You create an offer. What makes it easy for you to create an offer? You create an offer by understanding, you know, the problem that they have and what would solve it. Now, sometimes you might not know entirely, but at least create something that, at the very least, will get them some iota of solutions. And then of course you can be flexible. You can learn on the job sometimes, right? But at the end of the day, you would perform better, you would get more people to pay attention to you and respect you more if you have an offer. And for heaven's sake, you can also check what other people are doing. That is actually the easiest way. What are other people in the market doing? Sometimes you limit yourself by not you let me put it, what's the best way to say this? The best way to say this is this: you know what other people are doing, but you don't want to bother yourself to do it because you believe that all those other people are stressing people, or that thing that they're doing is too stressful. So you don't do it. But at the end of the day, you're not playing at their level because you are taking your own business with levity. You're taking your own self. You're not taking yourself seriously, and you're expecting people to take you seriously. Long and short of it, create offers. The next thing is the niche issue. Every advice that you're going to hear, a lot of advice you're going to hear from people around, when you want to start making a lot of money from freelancing, is choose a niche, choose a niche. There are riches in the niches, right? And that is not bad advice. So how do you choose a niche? What is a niche? A niche is just like a segment of the market that you choose to specialize on. How are the ways that you can choose a niche? You can choose a niche by problem. You can choose a niche by industry. You can choose a niche by identity or the type of people that you want to work with. And you can also choose a niche by outcome, right? So problem can be something like, uh, I help businesses that are losing my own niche. I'll just say it. I help businesses that are losing money, that are scaling, you know, with ads and losing a lot of money by not having a retention marketing system. That is just a very simplistic way to put it. So you can niche down by problem, you can niche down by industry. For instance, to use my example, you can be an email marketer just for e-commerce businesses, or email marketer for for coaches, or email marketer for this, email marketer for that. You can niche down by identity. For instance, you can say you help startup businesses to do XYZ, or startup founders to do XYZ. And you can niche down by outcome. Like, people that want to get this kind of outcome, I help them. In my opinion, the best way to get started, or the best way to niche down, is to niche down by problem. I keep saying problem because I can't overemphasize the importance of just understanding the problem that people want. Find out what's the bleeding that in copywriting or in marketing, we call something the bleeding neck problem. If somebody has a bite or an irritation, they might postpone solving that problem to later. But if somebody has a bleeding neck, they need a solution right now. Man, you can leave this stream right now if you just grasp this one thing. What is the bleeding neck problem? What is the problem that people want to solve immediately? Be the person that solves it. So when you niche down by problem, it means you can basically work with almost anybody that has that specific problem and needs your specific solution, right? You niche down by problem. You can work across industries. You can work across, across industries. You can work across different types of people and everything. But here's the mistake people make. People, a lot of people want to niche down on industry, like, hey, I only help so kind of people, or I only help people get so kind of outcome, etc. And they try to do it a little too early, so they are losing a lot of business, and they are losing something else. They are losing the opportunity to build a track record, and to actually get a track record and look at the data and then make a sensible decision. You see, the way to run this kind of business, the way to run freelancing, is not about just what you want. It's not about what you like. If it was what I like, I think I would only be writing for real estate agents or something. I don't even remember what it was that I said I really enjoyed then. It's not entirely about just what you want. It's about what the market wants, what the market is complaining about, what the market keeps wanting, what the market is posting every day about. What are they always looking for? What are they always looking for? What are they always looking for? What are they checking? What are people making posts about every day, complaining about? That is where you want to be. You want to be the solution to that problem. But most people would say, hey, I'm only a copywriter or a designer for, I don't know, Web3. And then they lose out on people in fintech, or they lose out on people in different industries. And they are being very stubborn about it, that I just want to be for these people. How about this? How about you niche down on a problem instead? For instance, one of my friends, his own problem that he solves is for people that needs to create pitch decks in order to so it's sort of niching down on problem and outcome. They're trying to get pitch decks in order to get people to invest in their business, right? Because of that, he had a lot of options on the kind of people that he can work with. And guess what? After doing that for some time, he looked back at his portfolio and he started to see a pattern. Hey, these are the kind of people that I've worked with the most in the past couple of years, right? From that, he now created a niche. Essentially, the principle I'm trying to teach you here is don't don't corner yourself by picking a niche too early. Start your business, start your freelancing, do your freelancing for a while, and let the niche build around you. Let the niche build around you. If you're currently thinking, hey, which niche am I going to pick? I hear people are saying that pick a niche, pick a niche, pick a niche. You don't pressure yourself. Pick a problem and solve it. Anybody that wants that problem solved, solve it for them. After a while, you will start to see a pattern. Like, these are the kind of people that need these things the most. And these are the people I'm going to focus on. And because you've now built sort of a track record, you can now leverage that track record to attract more people like that. Quick live stream check, just making sure that I've not lost you people, because I'm just staring at the camera. All right, I think we're still on. I think we're still on. And then the next point that would help you to make good money as a freelancer. I said this in my last set in the last what's it called? And somebody, by the way, somebody took it and ran with it. And then he came to give me feedback about it. Right? And he's on this stream currently. I'm not going to mention names. The next point is something that you've heard over and over and over again, but I'm never going to stop telling you. And it is called excellence. But I'm going to break it down a little further than I did last time here today. You need excellence in three things. You need excellence, first of all, in what you deliver. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time speaking about that one because it is pretty simple. Get very good at what you do. Be obsessed about being the best at that thing that you do. And don't take anything less. Whatever output you get today, try to make sure that your output is better even tomorrow. So I'll move quickly away from that one. The next one is excellence in how you deliver. Let me tell you a story here. You know, I like to tell stories. I've not told a lot of stories in this particular stream. So I think, was it last year? Our last year birthday, I decided to buy jewelry for my wife. Right? It was just a simple bracelet. Right? What is it? A bracelet is a bracelet, just something small, right? Small and pretty. And with this example, I'm going to be comparing two things for you. So there's this person we normally would buy jewelry from randomly, bracelets, necklaces, and everything. And then normally she'll just deliver and you wear it, and that's it. And next time, because it's convenient, you can just buy from her, whatever. But this time I decided, hey, let me splurge on my wife. Let me actually buy something that is quite pricey. So I went to this brand, a pretty big brand here in Nigeria, and I placed the order for the bracelet, and of course, it was delivered. When they delivered it, like I said, it's just a bracelet, something small, can fit in a small nylon. When they brought it in a super big box. I was wondering, wait, was it not bracelet that I ordered again? And then we opened it, and then there was like this book, and then there was a device, and then there was a thank you message, and then there was this, and then there was that. Next time I bought from them again, I noticed that was the same way that they packaged it. And of course, the real thing that we bought is just like something this tiny. But you know what made it fascinating, and you know what made me buy again? Because of how they delivered it. I'll give you another example. First time, and the reason why I'm saying these things is just to establish a pattern for you. And if you take note of it, you will see that a lot of businesses, don't forget what I told you, that the end result that I want you to get to is you might start out as an hustle, but don't stay a hustle. You need to start treating your business like a big business. I bought a I bought perfume from another pretty big brand in Nigeria. How big is a bottle of perfume? About this big, right? And then, when they delivered, the bag was like that big. And I was like, what is even inside this thing? And I opened and they put a lot of stuff to protect the stuff. And they put something else, an extra, and they put a thank you message and they put this and they put that. I was like, interesting. There's a pattern here. All of us see these patterns, right? But we don't pay attention to it, or we don't think we should apply it to ourselves. You have to find a way that whatever it is that you deliver, you are saying you're delivering excellently, but you also have to deliver. How you deliver also has to be excellently. You have to find an elaborate, not elaborate with fluff that doesn't make sense, elaborate with purpose way to deliver what you deliver. Don't be casual about your business. Make a big deal about everything that you're delivering to your clients. A couple of years ago, while I was still working with a German agency, I was essentially like the second person, like after the owner of the agency. So I was pretty much running everything. And then he also put me in charge of hiring people. So I was out there looking for a writer for the agency. To be honest, and I don't have anything against these people. To be honest, I didn't like hiring people from Pakistan, from experience, right? Especially the writers. Not that I have anything against Pakistanis. No, it's just the experience that I had at that time. To be clear again, on my first international gig, my immediate boss, was a Pakistani lady, and she was really pleasant. So I'm just establishing here that I have nothing against them. It's just most of the people that I had worked with in that for that particular thing, they weren't very good, right? But there was this guy, a Pakistani guy. Pains me that I don't remember his name right now. Yeah, I remember his name. I don't know if I should call his name. Amza, yeah. So Amza sent in a proposal, like, okay, Pakistani guy, but benefit of a doubt, let's see. And then, when he sent in the test project that we sent him, he sent the documents, which is what everybody does. But then he also sent me a Loom video explaining why he did what he did. Then he sent me another PDF document that's kind of outlines his thinking process, his research, everything. It just wowed me because I didn't agree with most of the things that he said in the Loom video. I didn't agree with some of the things he put in the PDF. But for something so small, for something so simple as a simple test for to get the job, he went above and beyond. Most people don't know how to go above and beyond in delivering things. They're very casual. Just send a link on WhatsApp and that's it. Now the client might not mind, but you are creating a perception in their mind. And the next time that they're going to hire you, you can't charge high because you are casual. You don't treat yourself like a big business. So they don't respect you and you don't show authority in the area of what you do. So, like I said, to recap, excellence in number one, what you deliver. Number two, how you deliver. And number three, this number three has like three different parts on its own. How you communicate. How you communicate when you're getting started. Another story. I knew there was somewhere in here that will start telling stories. I'm excited about this. I think this was just 2 weeks ago. Yes, it was 2 weeks ago. I got on a call with a Brazilian couple. They were looking for somebody to handle their email marketing, right? And then at first, the first 1 minute of the call, they got on the Zoom and they could not see. I think they were having issues, technical issues. They could not see the screen and all of that. They could hear what I was saying, and then they just could not hear. So I said, "Hey, just leave the call and come back." So they left the call. They came back. When they came back, of course, they saw they saw me on the screen and they're like, "Hey, we're happy to see you. It was kind of difficult there." And I said, the last time anybody was this happy to see me was when, the last time that I saw my baby looking at me. And then they laughed about it. Most of you are stiff. You don't treat the other person on the other side like the person you're trying to work with. You don't treat them like they're human beings. You treat them like they're robots that are looking to done out jobs. And that's because of what you're used to. You're used to the thinking and the operation of the also kind of job. Please get me right. When I say also, I'm not trying to look down or be condescending at anybody's quote and unquote also. But there's a difference between even there's a difference between somebody that is, even if you're doing a 9 to 5 job, there's some people that is just the also for them, and there are some people that do it properly, right? You understand? There's always going to be that person in the office that you know that they're just doing a shabby job just to get a paycheck and go. That is the kind of thing I'm talking about. I never go to any call with somebody I want to work with. What we're talking about here is excellence in communication. I never go to any call with anybody I want to work with just to go and answer questions. I always go there with a strategy. I always go there with a preparation based on whatever information, whatever little information that I have, because it forms a perception in their mind about me. It tells them if anybody is going to hire you as a freelancer, they want to know first and foremost that you get it, and they are not going to have to do a lot of work in order to bring you up to speed. They're not going to have to do a lot of work in order to integrate you into whatever that they have. And at the end of the day, they want to feel comfortable with you as much as possible. The more comfortable they are with you, the more they feel like they can work with you on the long term. So a lot of people, they're too stiff. They always think about the other person. This is the person that's going to pay me money. This is the person that's going to pay me money. Don't let me say anything wrong. Don't let me say this. Don't let me say that. If you are stiff like that, you are not demanding respect, and you're not commanding respect. You don't see yourself as a business person. You're still stuck in an employee mode. You are a business. You are running a business, even if it's just you that are doing your thing. You're running a business, and another business owner needs your help. They need your assistance. So you need to talk with that kind of confidence. The second thing is excellence when you start working. Your communication when you start working. How are you excellent in your communication when you start working? Don't let your clients chase you down. You should be the one that is updating them. telling them how it's going. Now, you might think, hey, Sam, I'm still trying to get a client. You're telling me about excellence when you start working. How you do one thing is how you do everything. That's first of all. And two, people said sort of sense, even though I didn't end up working with this lady, but there was a time that I did a discovery call, a first call with somebody. And then she said right from the first time she was talking to the person she talked to before me, she just knew wasn't going to talk. She wasn't going to be able to work with this person because communication wasn't clear already. The person wasn't being clear about what they're going to be doing. They're still sort of vague. They're just answering questions. They're not coming with new ideas. They're not coming with a vision. They're not coming with a plan. So people sense it. If you are not going to be that kind of person, it will tell before you start working with the person. So excellence while in communication, while you're working with someone. And by the way, everything I'm saying here, even though it seems like I'm just focusing on freelancing, it can actually help you if you're actually a corporate worker as well. But that aside, excellence in communication while you're working on something. Do you give updates? It is not only completion updates that is necessary. Progress update is also necessary. Hey, this is what we've been able to get done. Hey, this is where we are at. Hey, this is what is slowing me down. Anytime, okay, I wanted to jump and say something, but let me calm down because not always true. Anytime you operate with any big business, like let's say MTN or whatever, or some of your banks, you see how they update you about, hey, this transaction is pending, hey, this transaction is complete, hey, this, hey, that, hey, whatever. That is how big businesses operate. Why aren't you doing it too? Why do you trust these people? Because they over communicate, most of them, not all of them. Communication builds trust, not only in your romantic relationships. And then finally, on communication, excellence in communication is communication when things go wrong or if things go wrong. Things may go wrong, right? But don't be, and I have been guilty about this myself a couple of times. What comes to your mind is, man, these people that are paying me have messed up, whatever. And you're sort of shy away. No, you need to own up to any mistakes that you've made if it's you that made the mistake or if it's something you miss. Be the first person to call it out. If the person that is paying you is the one that now has to call it out, that is when there is a problem. And now I just said it about when you're while you're working. And let me now say it about, you know, before you start working, because there are several people probably watching this. Some people may just be new to freelancing or have not even gotten the kind of gig they want to get. If you notice something that is going to be a problem when you start working with them beforehand, call it out. Hey, I noticed that even though you say you want us to work on your social media, whatever, whatever, it seems like your product, your image quality is not very good. Can I suggest so and so? Can I suggest this and this? Everything I'm saying almost sounds like the same thing because at the end of the day, it just comes down to one thing: having good standards. Because if you're the kind of person that can call stuff out like that, it goes back to the doctor analogy. You're giving them a prescription for their problem. So when things go wrong, you need to call it out. You need to be the one talking to them. You need to be the one um, directing them because that is why they hired you. They hired you, again, back to what I said is the end point of this class, because they respect you and they believe in your authority in this area. Quick live stream check again. Did we drop off on? Okay, we're still on YouTube. How about on? All right. Pardon me. And the next point. Hey, let me do a quick recap because I understand that most of the things I've been saying have been building on top of each other. We talked about understanding the distinction between your skill, your service, and your offer. I talked about thinking about what you do as a prescription for the problem that they have. You don't go to a doctor expecting them to just start to calculate and invent the medicine for what is wrong with you. You expect that they understand what is wrong with you, and you expect that they are going to come to you with a solution, an already created solution, an already packaged solution. Talked about the niche issue, and I said the best way for you to niche down is to first niche down on a problem. Be a master at solving that problem. And if you're ever going to choose a niche or a small segment of the market that you want to focus on, it should be from the track record of what you've already done solving other people's problems. Like you've seen that you've been solving problems for a certain kind of people. Now you decide to niche down. Essentially, don't go and choose a niche randomly. Let the niche build around you. Then I've talked about excellence in what you do, excellence in how you deliver what you do, and excellence in communication. And I said excellence in communication comes three ways: communication when you get started, communication while you're working, and communication when things go wrong or if things go wrong. So I think this might be the final point. Okay, the second to the final point is operating at high standards. Operating at high standards. Operating at high standards is dependent on two things, actually three things. Number one, the kind of clients you pick. After you've been operating your freelance business for a while, you need to start to get this sense. You don't want to stay, like I said, let's go back to what I said is the end point of this teaching. It's okay to start as a hustle, but you don't want to stay as a hustle. You need to start treating your business as a big business. When you get started, you can pretty much work with almost everybody, but you have to have the kind of people that you want to continue to work with at the back of your mind. And let me tell you why that is important, because you can't help everybody. It is just the truth. There are some kinds of businesses that I can help. I can convince them to pay me and I can convince them to work with me, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to get them results. So a lot of times I discourage people like that from working with me. That's why I said the kind of clients that you pick. You understand? So for you, it might be that, hey, if somebody I'm thinking about, okay, somebody's looking for a social media manager, right? And you've been doing this thing for a while. You know that if somebody does not have, based on their kind of business, if they're not posting pictures or raw pictures from, let's say, their restaurant or raw pictures from this, it's just not going to work. But you are the kind of person that just wants to collect money from anybody, do work with everybody, and you have no standards. You have no high standards for yourself. So you're just bring from anybody. You know deep down in your heart, deep down, you know from experience that that thing is not going to work. So you just take and you go on to take it. Of course, you're going to have problems. And guess what? It now leads to the second thing. But let's stay on the first point first. The kind of clients you pick. Me, I know the people that no matter how much email marketing strategy I do, it won't help them. And I don't take those people. I don't take those people. Why? Because my client respect is important to me. And based on my integrity, the integrity of my authority on this subject matter, I just know it won't work. So why should I do it? Which now takes me to the second part. Delivering at high standards also sits on the leg of how you charge. The reason why you don't feel confident to charge high is because of the other things I've talked about. Number one, you are not you are not putting enough value on your business or enough time on your business in what you deliver, how well you deliver it, and how you communicate for you to justify charging high. You do everything sort of casual because yeah, let's just get it done. Let's just get it done. You don't take time to deliver at the highest level. You don't take time to think about how can I improve my customers' experience, my clients' experience. So because of that, you yourself, you feel like a thief if you're going to call it high amount. The way I charge with the assumption that whatever it is that we are going to do, that whatever time that I think it's going to take for us to complete the project that we're doing, I assume that it's going to take longer than that. Whatever I think it's going to cost me to complete the project, I assume it's going to cost more than that. And whatever, should I say, mental exertion that I expect to use to complete this project, I assume it is going to be more than that. Why? Because chances are that it can happen. And if any of those things happen, if it's costing me more, it's taking longer, I still want to be able to deliver at the highest level without resentment. Part of the reasons why you're not making good money is because you don't feel confident enough to charge higher, because somehow that at the back of your mind, you know that if it gets too worse, I'll just give them something just to get it done. Someone I was talking to in the middle of the week, he said one thing that is profound, and I found it to be true about the best freelancers. He See, most of your easiest client acquisition, clients that you're going to get, is going to come from referrals. And nobody's going to refer you if you're not killing it for them, if you're not doing awesome work for them. So, how do you charge? Do you charge with timidity because you are scared to call a big amount? Or do you charge with timidity because deep down, you yourself, you're not sure about what you're doing? You know that what you're delivering is not so awesome. And it's okay. Like I said, it's okay to start as a hustle, but it's not okay to stay as a hustle. You need to start thinking about your business like a big business. Sometimes the reason why you're delivering at the level that you're delivering is because of what you've seen. Are you getting training from people that are far ahead of you to see how they deliver work? What other businesses are you looking at? Are you modeling yourself, your own freelance business after? Or are you just doing the same thing over and over and over again, hoping that one day somebody, a big helper, will come and just pay you plenty money for it? What experience are you creating for your clients? Let me give you an example. If somebody if somebody hires you for something, one of the best, let me use examples of me being the client. This guy that I contacted to register the business, a business for me, right? He's probably here as well. He's a member of the community. And then everything that we did, we interacted entirely via email. All the documents I sent, all of this. He's somebody that I've known for years. We could have done it via WhatsApp. But when it came to business, he handled it like business. And it made it super easy for me because I can go there and search it. I can, if I'm ever going to do something else like that, I'm going to work with that guy because he made it super simple. It was very clear about everything that I need upfront, and he sent me like a checklist. Send this, then send this, and then this, and send this. He's operating like a big business, even though he and I knows that we're still just we. I brought the business up because I came to not because I saw a big ad or whatever. It's because it's someone I know, but he still handled business like business. You understand? I'll be happy to pay him more next time if it comes to that. And then finally, on operating at high standards. Actually, I'm going to merge the last 2 points together. And this thing is what is likely limiting most people, especially people. This class mostly is for people that are getting started, just to have an idea in mind about what comes next. But the people that are going to get the best out of this are people that are already into freelancing and are feeling stuck because they're at a certain level and they can't just, get past it. So let's assume, actually, I have another story. I don't know where I read this. I think it was a business book. I'm not sure if it is. I've forgotten the name of the book. I think the Lean Startup. I'm not sure. Or good is better than great is better than good. I don't remember. But they were talking about. I don't know if this is how the story went, but this is the main gist of the story. I think they said Steve Jobs, the one of the founders of Apple, he visited one of IBM's factories, and then he saw what they were building. And one of back then in the early days of the building computers, he noticed what they were building, and he noticed that what they were building is the future of computing. The thing is, they were in the middle of building something themselves, and it was just a couple of months from launch. When he got back to his office, he told his managers that we're going to cancel that thing that we're doing, and we're going to spoil it, we're going to break it down. And they asked him, hey, why are we essentially breaking down this thing that we've been working months to do? He said, it is better we break it down ourselves than to allow the market to break it down for us. Why am I saying this? One of the things that limits people, right? There are two types of people when it comes to this limitation. One of the things that limits people from getting to the next level and getting paid good money in freelancing is um they don't understand how to turn pressure into skill. Let me explain. The way this has affected me in the past is I've had some bad experiences in the past working with agencies, and I understand how, because I'm so deep into delivering excellently, it got to a point that I said, what, I'm not going to take this past this number of clients because after this number of clients, I am not going to be able to deliver excellently. But that was limiting because this is something I knew before, but I just forgot. If you are at a point where you feel like you are always working, but you are stuck at a certain amount of money or a certain amount that you're making every month, and you want to break through to the next, there are only two ways to start making more money. Is either you take more clients or you charge higher. When you're at the brim like that, you have a leverage that most people don't use. Let's say whatever service that you offer it, and you people pay you, I don't know, 500,000 per month or whatever, and you have 4 clients, so you're crossing 2 million per month. And you know that if you take any more, you're just going to do a terrible job, or it's you just don't have the bandwidth for it. This is what I'm going to say to you. This is a pivotal point of leverage for you. I don't even know that sentence comes together, but this is a point. This point is where you have the highest leverage, because you are full to the brim anyway. Anybody that comes to you now, you should what I'm saying is you should desperately and actively hunt for new clients at this level. Why? Because if somebody comes to you now, because you're already full to the brim, you're already booked out, you're already stressed out, you don't have any space anymore, you have a negotiation power in the sense that you're not desperate for a new client. So instead of charging 500, maybe you charge 1 million. Now, some people might not take it, but wait, what if somebody does? You've just broken into a new level. And what do you do with the extra income? You can now use it to build systems or processes or hire new people that would expand your business. Pressure is a signal, or overwhelm, like we discussed last week, is a signal for you to grow. This has happened to me twice in the past year. I'm like, okay, you know what? This year, not last year. You know what? I'm full to the brim. I can't do whatever. I can't do whatever. But then people reach out to me, or I reach out to people, and then I say, okay, you know what? Let me just charge them this amount. If they don't answer, if they say no, no problem, I'm okay. I'm already booked out. I already have clients paying me X amount of money. And if they say yes, guess what? Now I'm playing on a different level. Now my attention is on this person that is paying me a lot more. Not that my attention is not on others, but now I'm able to expand my business. Stop turning down opportunities because you feel overwhelmed. Leverage that point that you are in to get the next big deal. And now that I think about it, every time that I've expanded personally, I would rather charge higher than get a ton of new clients. Every time that I have increased my prices over the past couple of years, it came at the point that I could no longer take more clients. When I can no longer take more clients, anybody that is coming is you can stay or you can go. I'm currently fine as it is. You understand? And then I build them more, and then I move forward. And then I build the next people more, and then I move forward. That, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's session. Uh, this session is not as, should I say, energetic as something like what we did last class, because what we're talking about here is more practical and more things that you probably will have to come back to listen to again and again, depending on where you are in your freelance business. And like I always say, there is a community, my WhatsApp community, where you can ask me questions about freelancing, or about freelancing or you know questions about life mindset and things like that, and then I can decide to either create a stream or a session like this, or just answer you directly. But essentially, the importance, oh, a lot has been said in the WhatsApp channel. Oh, my bad. Someone says they can't hear me well. Oh, sorry guys. I wasn't looking at the WhatsApp. You should have just left a comment on YouTube. So anyway, please, if you'd like to join that community where you get to ask questions and then I get to set up streams like this for you, I think I'm just going to leave it in the comments of the post of this live stream. As usual, I'm going to open the floor if anybody has any questions, or maybe you can just wait to join the WhatsApp community to ask. And if we have no questions, I guess I'll see you guys next week. What am I going to teach about next week? I think something is telling me that from everything I've said today, certain people, now for your last point, you mentioned when you fully book the client comes for your service. what is sorry, I don't know if that's a question, Ola. Can you clarify? Okay, please ask the question. I'll be waiting on your question, Mr. Ola. Let me just grab the WhatsApp group link. Who did I send it last to? Yeah. And just in case you have typed your question, give me a second. I'm not looking at my screen right now. Okay. I'm going to put the link to the. Ola, you have not typed your question now. Let me just put it up here. I've put it both on what's it called, on YouTube and on Facebook, wherever we're watching. And if you're part of my in-house, what's it called, my in-house audience on Riverside, I've also posted it there. How do you disengage clients that you already have built a personal relationship with when you charge more? Well, it is tricky. I'll be an hypocrite if I say it is super easy. I have a client that I've been working with for the longest time, and to be honest, I don't do much. And part of the reasons why I still really work with her is because, it's not much work. To be honest, I'm not really if okay, let me put it this way. It's not much work. It is still good pay, but you know, could I stop working with her? I probably can. Do I still appreciate working with her? I still do, right? If I'm to be a if I'm to make a strict business decision, it'll be, hey, stop working with her. But on a personal level, I just enjoy working with her, so I still keep, working with her, right? So it is not very easy, right? Especially when you have a good personal relationship with a client. But I as well have also disengaged with people that, that were friendly and everything. So it comes down to this, right? You just have to explain. Of course, you're not just going to be blunt like, hey, bye bye, I'm no longer working with you. There are people that are, that you've been serving or they've been paying you good at a certain level before. So you just explain to them that, hey, I'm going to be increasing my prices by X amount of, by X amount by so time. You give them time. You don't just do it abruptly. You give them time, say in the next 2 3 months or by the beginning of next year, I'm going to be increasing my prices to fit so and so, and this is the reason why I'm doing so and so and so and such and such. This particular person that I'm talking about that has been one of my oldest clients, we had a situation like that as well. So you explain to them, and now the choice is theirs. They can choose to, again, respect um, the level that you want to play at, respect the importance of you in their business, or they can choose to say, hey, we're not willing to pay that much. And it's okay if they're not willing to pay that much. You understand? And all of these things are sweet too. It's only easy to do when you've set up your business in a way that, when you get clients, you don't lose them easily. If you're in a business that you keep every time a client comes this month, next month they go, it'll be difficult for you to walk away from clients. I'm seeing a message in the WhatsApp community that I want to check. Yeah, I've seen this question actually. So yeah, um, you just have to be reasonable about it. Give them time, give them a heads up, and then explain why you want to do it, and then let them decide by themselves if they want to continue or not. It's pretty difficult. I'm not going to lie to you, but it is what it is. All right. So, any other questions that we're going to have, please, you'd have to ask in the chat um, on the WhatsApp channel. Thanks once again for joining this live. See you guys on Sunday, next Sunday, 8 p.m. Before then, we're going to, send broadcasts, do a banner about what we're going to be discussing next. But again, I keep saying it's likely going to be a question that somebody from the community asks me. So if you feel like there's any pressing questions that you want to ask that maybe not, that is not on this topic and is on something else, please click the link in the comments and join the WhatsApp community. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next week.